here with Brian Shin, CEO of Visible Measures. Brian, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Peter.
And why don't you just give us a quick background of the company?
Okay.
Who are you, what do you do, and who would buy your products and services?
Great. So Visible Measures is a media measurement firm, and we're focused on online video. And so we partner, what that really means is that we partner with the largest video publishers and video ad networks to gather a lot of data and provide insights and actionability to the major brands and the agencies that serve the brands. So really we're a metrics provider to advertisers to try to help them increase the ROI of their online video ad campaigns.
Well, we actually work with both the Advertising Research Foundation and the Interactive Advertising Bureau, so I'm passionate about metrics and measurement.
Awesome.
So what's going on in that space? What are your customers demanding from you or asking for or don't even know that they want that you guys are working on to deliver?
So one of the biggest pushes we see, especially as advertising continues to be a little bit soft, people are looking for innovation, and what we provide is a sort of a 360 platform that can give you a sense for how your online video ad campaign is performing across four main areas. One would be your paid media, to provide consistent metrics and measurement back from every place where you buy media. It could be a site like a Yahoo or NBC or ESPN, or it could be a video ad network. So we integrate in and provide metrics back from all of those. That's like your paid media bucket. You can have all consistently measured by us. Then all your owned media. So typically promotional video content is trying to drive traffic and audiences to some place that you can control, like a Amex Open Forum or GM.com or something like that. And so we're in all of those places, again, to provide that consistency across the different channels.
And the promotional video, maybe they created a video that they've uploaded to YouTube, maybe put in their own proprietary player.
Exactly. And talking about the YouTube thing, that's a great point, is that we also then cover all the earned media, so the social video, the viral video type performance. So you've got the paid, you've got the owned media, you've got the social / earned media. And then we also then take all of that and we compare against benchmark. So you can see, okay, well, I'm a brand and I know my target audience is small, my product appeals to a niche audience. So being compared against a campaign that's very widely adopted, like a Nike campaign, is sort of not a real good comparable. So how can you compare yourself against a benchmark that's really more in terms of your competitive set? So we provide the paid, owned, earned, and then benchmark against whoever you consider as a competitor, because we essentially measure all video ad campaigns. And then we begin to publish this data publicly every week as sort of a service to the industry, because ultimately what we're trying to do is to try to demonstrate the effectiveness of the medium, to try to increase the confidence of advertisers to spend more money. And we feel that if we can help, just be a small part of the solution to help increase the confidence of the advertiser, then the investment in the space will be much larger.
So give me one or two examples of recent research that you've gleaned from the data.
So great things like, for example, in the movie industry, we publish a top 10 chart every week in Variety magazine, which is essentially indicating the top 10 performing video ad trailers, essentially the movie film trailers. And what people are able to see is that major studios like Sony and 20th Century Fox and Summit and others use our data to essentially try to trend over time and track how their movies are performing before release, and then take some of our data and actually understand how the audiences are consuming and embracing the campaigns, and then how that will impact box office. And so it's not so much that the gross viewership will correlate directly to gross box office, but it's more that if you have a very high positive buzz and you're over-indexing against other competitors, like competitive movie titles, etc.
That are going to be released around the same window?
Around the same time, or even historically, just to compare against benchmark, they can essentially determine if the movie will over or under-index against the performance band that they're expecting based upon the movie budget, etc. So we're trying to correlate online video audience data with some kind of key performance indicator that the marketers care about, in this case, box office. And so we do a lot of work with the entire industry, and we do something similar with a lot of the other industries like auto and consumer packaged goods, other entertainment type verticals. But the KPIs and the measure of success is so different per industry. So really the case studies differ pretty widely according to the industry.
So give me an example of another industry with a totally different key performance indicator. So
sure.
What do they care about?
Yeah, so in the financial services sector, American Express is a pretty big client of ours, and for them it's all about people applying for the card. So it's really much more of a direct response medium for them, but they produce a ton of content. They produce literally hundreds and hundreds of pieces of video content, usually with guys like Richard Branson speaking about how awesome he is, and he's awesome. I mean, he's freaking cool. He's awesome. But number one, they were trying to justify, should we produce all this content? Like, we're spending a lot of money to have these entrepreneur forums and have all these interviews. Is it worth it? Are we getting any kind of value? If it is worth it and people are watching it, which ones are more popular? Because we literally have hundreds of these clips. So how can we encourage more and more audience interaction with the clips? And then if people do consume this content, is there any correlation between them consuming more content across more places? And does that have any kind of correlation to sign up for the card applications? And so essentially we were able to prove, I can't really share all the specifics, but we were able to prove that yes, the content is incredibly engaging. People were really, really liking it. The more sites that they consume the content on, like a CNN Money, Yahoo Finance, the more times they saw the same content, they were actually exponentially more likely to apply for the card. So that kind of information is incredibly valuable to Amex and people like that. That's just one small example.
Got it. And then a lot of these companies have they've all picked platform companies, so I'm assuming you work with a lot of the major video platform companies.
Absolutely. We support and have integrated in, we have basically push button support for the platform, Uyala, Bright Cove, Digital Smiths, I think we have like the top 10 or something like that. So really our whole thing is to be platform agnostic. We want to work with anybody who our customers are really interested in working with. So we have a very open integration platform, and yeah, it's been really cool. And a lot of these guys are here. It's a pretty impressive conference.
I think everybody's here, yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of metrics to measure,
yeah.
Are you seeing any new metrics emerging that either advertisers are? It almost seems like whoever creates innovation from a technology standpoint then has to convince the advertisers, hey,
right.
Measure, engagement is what matters, or this is what matters, and then the education process begins. What are some of the new ways to measure the success of advertising, and how quickly are the advertisers buying into what the vendors are pitching?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. I mean, really, that's the kind of the core of it for us is how can you demonstrate the value? How can you convince the advertisers that they're getting a lot of value? And there's a lot of things that are very unique about online video versus things like television. And how can you emphasize the strengths of the online medium but still do it in such a way that the advertiser is kind of familiar with it, like in the olden days with the gross rating point and things like that. And so one of the metrics that we found has made a lot of sense to people is the concept of reach. And everyone knows reach is essentially the number of people that you're engaging with your message, but we've kind of put a little spin on it, calling it true reach. And what we're doing is we're saying, okay, here's all your paid reach. We talked about how we measure paid reach. Here's all the paid reach that you got. Here's all your owned reach that you drove with all your promotional content from YouTube, etc. Here's all the social and earned media reach that you got. And putting that across not just the original content that you placed out there or the original ads that you were promoting, but the originals, the copies, users actually taking your content, re-uploading it to a different site like a YouTube, a MySpace, a MetaCafe, Break, etc. Or then creating their own remixes, mashups, and derivatives. And so having like originals, copies, derivatives across paid, owned and earned media, that really provides a totality of the view, and then that's what we refer to as true reach. And then you can kind of subdivide and say, okay, well, how many people of this type, or etc. But that's kind of a thing that emphasizes the power of the social web, where people can share media, but it also is done in a way where people understand reach. So it's that's one example of a metric that we feel perfectly sort of encompasses what's needed for online video to really take off.